This video is about using self-management to change your behaviour. What is self-management? Self-management is a behaviour modification tool used to increase the likelihood of a desirable behaviour occurring or decrease the likelihood of an undesirable behaviour occurring. Behaviours you may wish to increase might be something like exercise, healthy eating, or studying. On the other hand, there might be behaviours you'd like to decrease, for example, smoking or eating junk food, behaviours you do too much of and would like to reduce. You might ask yourself, why do I do this and why do I keep doing this? Mainly, it's because the immediate reinforcement of your current behaviour is way more powerful than any future desired behaviour. In the case of wanting to increase exercise, what you want from exercise, which might be better health or weight loss or a great body, that's all in the future. But right now, your muscles hurt, it takes a huge effort to even get up and go, and you have all these tempting, competing behaviours like wanting to just chill out on the couch, watch TV and eat. This creates a conflict between short-term behaviours and long-term outcomes. I'm going to show you some steps you can take to make changes in your own life and create the behaviours you desire. But first, I'm going to tell you a story about Vicky. Vicky is a 32-year-old mum. Vicky used to love running. She ran at least 5 days a week and usually ran around 5 kilometres every time. She loved the way running made her feel and look. Now Vicky has a full-time job, 3 kids, and hasn't run for a few years. She'd love to get back into it, but every time she tries, it never turns into a consistent routine. She is too tired after work, and it's easier to just veg out on the couch eating junk food after finally getting the kids to bed. Vicky decided to try self-management in order to get back into running. She set some goals and decided to keep track of her goals, running times and distances on a data sheet. Vicky set her running goals at the beginning of each week, aiming to get back to her former ability of 5 kilometres on 5 days of the week. She kept the data sheet on the fridge door so she'd see it every time she was in the kitchen. It motivated her to continue when she could see that she was reaching her goals. Vicky also changed her routine to increase the likelihood she'd get out the door and run. She arranged with her boss to start work a little earlier and finish a little later, allowing her time to run on her lunch break 3 days a week. She set a reminder in her phone to pack her running gear into her work bag the night before. She also asked a colleague to praise her when she achieved her running goals at work. She increased her social support for her goals by joining with a local park run on a Saturday morning with her whole family, and found a running group of local mums via Facebook. Vicky removed junk food from her house, asking her husband and kids to support her to be healthy. When Vicky met her goals every week, she rewarded herself with mum's time out, spending time doing things she loved. Now, Vicky feels energised and healthy, has made new friends, and is nearly at her goal of running 5 kilometres on 5 days per week. So, how do you begin self-management? Let me take you through the steps. Firstly, you have to make the decision you're going to do it. Vicky decided she really wanted to get back into running. Secondly, you need to define the target behaviour. What is it you want to do or want to stop doing? Vicky wanted to run 5 kilometres on 5 days every week. You also need to define any competing behaviours. What is stopping you from achieving your target behaviour? What is reinforcing you now that is conflicting with your future goal? Vicky was tired after work and found it easier to sit on the couch, watch TV and eat junk food. Thirdly, you need to set a goal. Vicky wanted to run 5 kilometres on 5 days every week. But she also set weekly smaller running goals to gradually make her way up to her ultimate goal. Be specific about what your smaller and larger goals are going to be, and make sure you make them realistic and achievable. Fourthly, you need to choose some self-management strategies for your behaviour. You can modify your environment to increase the likelihood of your desired behaviour occurring and to decrease the likelihood of any competing behaviours occurring. You do this by making it easier to do what you want to do and harder to indulge in your competing behaviour. Vicky's competing behaviours were feeling tired after work and eating junk food in front of the TV. She set up several cues to remind her of her goals. Her monitoring sheet in a prominent place on the fridge, a reminder in her phone to pack her running gear, and the sight of her running gear in her work bag every day. Vicky removed the cues for her undesirable behaviour by removing junk food from the house. This also increased the effort she would have to make to get junk food if she wanted it. But she made the effort to go running easy by rearranging her schedule to go during the day when she wasn't feeling so tired, and by committing to run with a social group. Running during the day also re-energised her in the evenings, making her feel less like sitting down and eating. Reinforcement and social support is very important. Some reinforcement is natural. For Vicky, the high and energy she got from running was a natural reinforcer. Her colleagues' praise and the mum's time out she gave herself when she achieved her goals were external reinforcers. Vicky also set up social support by joining groups of like-minded people on the weekends and involving her family. You might ask your closest friends and family to be a part of your journey too, or you might like to look up supportive groups and make new friends. Either way, having others to hold you accountable and to reinforce you will motivate your behaviour change. You can also use self-instruction and self-praise. I don't recommend doing this randomly. These are behaviours too and need to be rehearsed. Perhaps Vicky may have rehearsed some mantras for days when she didn't feel like going for a run. Something like, I am strong and fit. Running makes me stronger and fitter. I will run towards my goal. Having specific words you have rehearsed will make it easier to retrieve them when you need them. The same goes for self-praise. Vicky rehearsed some words of self-praise which she said after every run. I am stronger now than I was before. Running feels like flying to me. Next, monitor your progress. If you're a data nerd, you can even go all out and start graphing things, but do whatever is simplest for you. I recommend making a data sheet that is highly visible and prominent in order to keep you motivated towards your goal. Vicky stuck hers on her fridge. To start with, particularly with behaviour you are trying to reduce, like smoking or eating junk food, it can be helpful to do a week of taking data before you start your intervention to give you a baseline to move from. You can then see, for example, that you're eating junk food on average twice a day over 5 days a week and make an appropriate goal to reduce that amount. Once all these things are in place, regularly evaluate how you're going. Book in time with yourself to consider whether strategies you have in place are working. If not, change them up and keep going. Come back to this video and check which strategies might work best for you. Make sure any strategies you put in place can be maintained long term. You might need to come up with new challenges and new reinforcing rewards to keep you motivated. Finally, not everything is easy to do on your own. If you have a problem that significantly interferes with your life, don't hesitate to see a professional for further help.